This video is brought to you by Alienware, featuring Intel Core i7 processors. Start gaming.
Hey, what's up guys, Jack here, and today we're taking a look at some juicy news and info for upcoming Star Wars Battlefront content. Lots of good stuff in here, you will not be disappointed. And as you saw at the start of the video, this one is sponsored by Alienware laptops. I've done a couple of videos on these before, and if you're interested in checking them out, there's a link to their website in the description below. So then, it was only last week that the first Battlefront DLC Outer Rim was made available for non-season pass holders to buy. Players are still getting to grips with the two new hero additions of Nyan Num and Greedo, but now we've already had some information about what we're going to get in the next DLC, which is due to be released in June. First, we have confirmation of something that we already pretty much knew, that each DLC will give us two new heroes to play with, making the total amount of new heroes 8 when all of the DLCs are released. We've had Nyan and Greedo so far, and we also know the next two we're going to get when the Bespin DLC launches, and they are Lando Calrissian for the hero and Dengar for the villain. Now, before we talk about them specifically, it looks like DICE are basing their heroes and villains on the settings of the DLCs, so with Outer Rim, Greedo and Nyan Num made perfect sense. The same applies here. The Bespin DLC is set in the amazing setting of Cloud City, which of course was run by Lando, so his addition to the DLC isn't surprising. That being said, I can't find any real link between Dengar and Cloud City other than the fact that he's visited it. I think Lando's going to be a pretty cool hero, and he's certainly a well-known character from the films, but Dengar, not so much. I imagine quite a few people will never have heard of him. If you watch Clone Wars, yes, you might know who he is, and he does have a bit of history with Han Solo and Chewie in the extended universe, but for the most part in the mainstream, I think he's definitely one of the lesser known characters. But what we do know about him is this: he's a bounty hunter, and he was one of the bounty hunters hired by Darth Vader to hunt Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon in Empire Strikes Back. Other than that, he isn't really particularly interesting looking. He kind of looks like he's got toilet paper wrapped around his head and isn't really as cool as some of the other bounty hunters. It's entirely possible though that some of the others, like let's say Bosk and IG-88, will be added down the line though. So now we know who the heroes are, we can take a guess at what sort of weaponry they'll be using. Lando is mainly seen using his blaster pistol, but he does use an E11 blaster rifle in the Empire Strikes Back, so there is a chance he could use either a beefed up E11 or a high damage blaster pistol like this one. In terms of abilities for Lando, I'm really struggling to think of any, and I think DICE will have a hard time with this. What does Lando really do apart from stab Han Solo in the back and then make it up to him in Return of the Jedi by helping to rescue him from Jabba the Hutt? I'm not sure, perhaps a gunslinger ability or something based on deception. It's a tricky one for sure. Dengar, on the other hand, has lots of possibilities with him being a bounty hunter. He uses a rifle, mostly a heavy blaster rifle, something along those lines of the DLT-19, but maybe he'll have something a bit more unique. I'd prefer him to have a new weapon, to be honest. He does also have some cool ability possibilities. That was a bit of a mouthful. He's known for using mini grenades and smoke grenades, so those are both possible abilities for him. He did also have a pretty unique ship, which was a Jump Master 5000, but he called it the Punishing One. Sounds pretty sinister, and this could make an appearance in Fighter Squadron game modes, perhaps, where we're zooming around the landing pads of Cloud City. And whilst we're on the subject, if there are new Fighter Squadron maps in this DLC, I'd love to see additional objectives thrown into the game mode. I do personally get very bored of it after 5 minutes, but maybe that's just me. And just about Cloud City, by the way, this could be an amazing visual setting for the DLC. Cloud City, as the name would suggest it, is a city in the sky, and I'm expecting the backdrops of the 4 new maps that come with this DLC to look pretty incredible. We will also get to head into the Carbonite Chamber, the famous setting where Han Solo was set in carbon. DICE, I hope you're listening, please let me turn enemy players into Carbonite. Please, please, please. It may be a city in the sky, but Bespin also has town and village areas, so expect AT-ATs and Fighter Squadron. They could be particularly special on these maps. Unlike the Outer Rim DLC, which was close quarters, the new one will be based on larger scale game modes like Walker Assault, which is great. We'll also be getting some new star cards and weapons, so all in all the game is getting a lot of new content. It's not just about the next DLC though. DICE say they are committed to providing regular free content. You can expect more HUT contracts added to the game and new in-game events. Think stuff like double XP weekends and community missions. As well as that, there are some apparent surprises in store that players have been asking for, something based around allowing players to enjoy the game offline, instant action maybe, very interesting. Oh, and expect something special for May the 4th, I shouldn't need to say why, but May the 4th be with you. Lastly, I wanted to touch briefly on the final Battlefront DLC, which we actually don't know anything about right now. The name or setting hasn't even been announced, and it's being kept pretty secret, but the rumour mill is starting up. And many people are predicting that the final DLC could be based around the new Rogue One movie. If you don't already know, Rogue One is a standalone Star Wars film coming out later this year in December, and it tells the story about how the plans for the first Death Star were obtained. In the Star Wars timeline, it takes place just before Episode 4 A New Hope. Now, whilst we know this Battlefront game is only using the original trilogy and won't use any of the new film's content or prequel content, Rogue One is actually technically in the original trilogy's timeline, so it's quite plausible to assume that it could be used here. Not only that, but the last DLC will actually be releasing around the same time as the film. And I'm sure you've seen the trailer for Rogue One by now, and if you did, there's a scene in it towards the end that's practically Walker Assault. It just seems to fit in with the game perfectly, so I would be pretty amazed if Rogue One wasn't the basis for the last DLC, and if it is, they're going to start promoting it probably nearer the film's release, and it could be freaking amazing. New weapons, characters, environments, and heroes we've never seen before. I am certainly excited for the possibilities here. And that's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this update video on Battlefront. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Lando and Dengar, what do you think? And also Rogue One as potentially the final DLC. Can you see it happening, or is this off the cards? As always, thank you for watching the video, guys. I really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, a thumbs down if you didn't, and I'll see you in the next one.